Hello and welcome to Cinema Savvy. It's myself, George, and this afternoon, I'm not used to this time of day, we are doing a review on the report. I said we, it's just me. Apologies about that. For anybody that doesn't know, this is the new Adam Driver film that is based on the infamous CIA torture reports. I'm going to get a little bit into that shortly. This was released, I believe, at Sundance earlier this year, with Amazon buying the rights to it. Had a limited release at the London Film Festival, which myself, Forte, didn't get a chance to see, and it's had its release on Amazon Prime. I think not the Friday that just went, the Friday before, but I finally got around to seeing this film, and obviously I'm giving my quick thoughts on this. Now, I mentioned previously that this is about the CIA torture report. I'm going to give a little bit of background. So obviously after 9/11 happened, one of the big things that kind of took over was obviously the torturing of prisoners. I'm not going to get into the debates of what people believe and whatnot. I'm not here for that. But obviously it was the CIA that did an investigation into what happened, how people were dying, how they were treated. Did these even get any results from anything? Linking back to Vice from earlier in the year, well, obviously the real life Dick Cheney, he obviously was a big reasoning of this. They kind of skirt away from him in this film, which is fine. You know, the last thing you want is a film that's gone about Dick Cheney twice in a year. However, there are scenes with waterboarding where all I can think of is the Sacha Baron Cohen sketch where he got Dick Cheney to sign a waterboard, which was remarkable. So there's a bit of background. It's a political thriller. I'm using the term thriller lightly. It felt like The Post. If anybody's seen The Post, I thought it was great. It's the Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, Steven Spielberg. It was about the sort of just for the Watergate scandal. I've forgotten the details, but it's about basically a newspaper that wanted to print stuff, and people were against it, etc., etc. The report felt very much like this. When I saw the trailer, when I read into it before it came out, it felt like, okay, this is going to be a film about an individual that wants to, obviously report what's happened. Obviously, when it's real life, the issue with real life productions is that, well, not productions, but ultimately, if you know anything about what happens, it's just paint by the numbers. And, we know the report's going to come out, and that's a big part of this. I thought performance-wise, Adam Driver was fine. He was the lead actor. He played, apologize, I've forgotten his name. That's awful. Scott Burns wrote and directed this. It's his second film. He has wrote on some of the other stuff. Apologies, I'm just trying to remember who Adam Driver played. Again, I think that says a lot when you've already forgot the name. It's Dan Burns. He plays Dan Burns, who leaked all the files. He's fine in the film. He's a good performance. It's what you're going to get of Adam Driver. When there are intense scenes, he does it better than most. And, you can tell this is a film and a subject that he was obviously invested in. Obviously, everybody knows that he joined the military post 9/11, so there may have been some sort of personal connections to this film. What I do want to say is, for a film that's just about leaking the papers, I don't want to say graphic, that's the wrong word, but, rather than having 11 people on a table in a committee, oh, A did this, B did this, C did this, it resulted in E dying. They have a very sort of not smart editing technique, but they would show it on screen. So when they're discussing, a subject or someone being tortured, you kind of already had the visuals of that happening. And I think that's the credit. That's personally what I thought the best part of the film is, as sadistic as that sounds, was the actual torture scenes, because it really not opened your eyes into what was happening. Obviously, we know what's happening, but it gave you as a viewer some visual evidence of this is how bad it is. And they'll show it. You can say 100 things, but the impact isn't there without being able to see it. And then you've got these, small characters. They may show them going into a room, showing the process of torturing and what they did. It's graphic when it needs to be. It doesn't shy away from that. And I think that's one thing I really applaud Scott Burns for choosing to do. Was it would have been too easy to talk rather than show, and they did a perfect example. What that also did, that helped to bridge the gap between scenes. This is set over, I want to say, about 7-8 years. And what comes with it being set over that duration of time is the fact that, apologies, it's about that over the 8 years, not because we've seen The Irishman recently, but not the fact no one ages. It's more of a case of the fact that they're all the same. Nothing happens, nothing changes. You could take the opening scene and you could look at the final scene. You think it would have been in the space of 2 weeks, just the way they've handled it. Like I said, overall, it was a fine film. Nothing particularly stood out by the instance on some of the scenes, and there was nothing else that did anything for me. Again, I'm a big fan of Adam Driver. I really hope he wins that Oscar for Marriage Story. I think he will. I'm going to use the end of this review to hype up Marriage Story. That is definitely worth watching. However, the report, it was just painted by the numbers. It'll be forgotten about in a year or two's time. Getting released on Amazon does not help its case at all. Even if it was marketed over here, I don't think it would have been that well, not received, but it's not, the nature of the film isn't going to attract a lot of people. And I think that's ultimately one of the issues that they had with this film. So that's me signing off very quickly, a very quick review of the report. And be sure to join me and Chris tomorrow when we do a review on The Mandalorian Chapter 5, which is far more interesting than the report. Thank you.